Hi, this is Andi Sidwell at SSDP Conference 2009 in the UK. I'm interviewing Ewan Hoyle, who is the founder of Liberal Democrat for Drug Policy Reform. Could you just say how you got started with the drug policy movement and why you founded that organisation?
Well, to go right back to the beginning, basically I'd always thought that drugs being illegal and people being arrested for taking drugs wasn't really the best way to go about helping people who have problems. But then, maybe about 2 years ago, I saw a documentary about Steve Wright and the murders in Ipswich called Killer in a Small Town.
Okay.
Where he killed 5 prostitutes who were staying out in the streets working, despite the fact that it was quite clear that there was a serial killer kind of picking them off one at a time.
Yeah.
And there was no way to help those women because the police couldn't give them heroin to stop them going out in the streets. And they were all heroin addicts who needed help and were so desperate for their drugs that they put themselves in harm's way.
Sounds like. Okay. It's okay, I've got it. Okay.
So, following on from that, I wrote a letter to my MP, Danny Alexander, Nick Clegg's chief of staff, kind of explaining why I thought that drug policy reform was necessary. And he thanked me for the letter. He didn't agree with all the points in it, but he encouraged me to go to conference. And so I thought, okay, I'll go to conference. How do I kind of share these ideas and meet other people with these ideas? So I originally thought about kind of putting a motion together, which was kind of 3 days before the deadline for motions, which was stupidly ambitious.
Yeah.
But when I found out that was just not going to happen, I tried to put together a fringe event, again with 3 days notice before the deadline. But I got in contact with Danny Kushlik at Transform, and Transform very kindly funded the fringe event, kind of arranged for the room. And so I spent the next kind of month or two kind of preparing my speech to this fringe event. And when we eventually got to the fringe event, we had Danny Kushlik, who was great, and Graham Watson, who presented the MEP for, I think, South West.
Oh, right.
And he was a fantastic speaker. He went through in great detail the kind of experiences from Switzerland and Portugal. And then I kind of stood up and did my bit, kind of laying out the options for kind of going forwards. I mean, do we just kind of tweak Liberal Democrat policy to make it more effective?
Yeah.
Or do we attempt to move to a more kind of controlled, regulated, legal market in drugs for the next election? And yeah, it was a full fringe event. There was about 50 people there, and we did a wee kind of poll at the end of it, what kind of option they would go for, and they all raised their hands in support of the putting forward the motion for the strict control and legal regulation of drugs. So basically, I then had a mandate to go and produce this motion and try to take it forward within the party.
Great.
So that's what I'm working on now, with a lot of help with the contacts that I've made at this conference. I hope to take it forward to the leadership, and if they're not convinced, I hope to kind of work away and convince them that this is the best way to kind of solve a lot of the problems that are affecting our society.
Excellent, that's been great. Thanks very much.
Okay, cheers.